Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching. For those who don't know me, sorry, I'm in a classroom right now, so because I work here, so I just sounded like I was Southern because I work here, so I can't really be too loud. But I just wanted to discuss some updates and just like new life stuff that I've been kind of going through. So I have been on hormones now for a year. It's been a year, and it's insane that it's been a year. Like, I can't even, like, I still to this day, I'm like, how has it already been a year? It's like insane to talk about because there's been so many changes for the good. And it's just crazy because right now I just remembered this, that I'm sitting in this seat that I sat in, the same seat, because I was in this class 2 years ago before I started transitioning, and I was already pretty depressed, and I would sit in the seat every day and I wouldn't talk to anyone. And now it's like 2 years later, how much better my life has got, and I'm in this exact seat. So it's like, it's kind of like you never know what could happen. I never dreamed that I would transition, honestly, when I was in college at all. Like right now, like I thought I said to myself I was gonna finish college and then I'm gonna transition. And then it just became too much to deal with. So I kind of just said, oh, you know what, like, I need to deal with myself first. And I think that honestly, like, loving yourself and finding that in yourself and becoming friends with yourself in general is the healthiest thing you can do for, your relationships, for your work life, for your school life. Like, my life right now is more organized and more like set on a path than it's ever been for me. Like, I know I'm graduating in May. I'm struggling a little bit with classes, but I'm pushing myself through. I care more about my friends than I ever knew I could. I mean, I cared about them so much before, but there was so much pain and like sadness that it was like any problem they had, I almost like in my head was like, you have no idea what's going on with me. But I would never do that because I'm not the type of person to ever be like, well, my situation's worse, because everyone goes through horrible things in their life. Everyone has the traumatic something. I mean, not everyone, but a lot of people go through shit in their lives. That's how it is, So for me, like, that shit just got so big that I couldn't even like function as a human being anymore. And like, for me, it's like, it's different because I don't know if it has to do with my personality, but I can't do something like, I can fake it for a while. Like, I faked, being happy or whatever. I faked being able to pretend I was a boy for so long. And then, like, I think there was like this tolerance level where I was just like, fuck this. Like, there's no reason for me to be living miserably. And like, I feel like these past couple months I've been reflecting, and I haven't really made videos over the summer because I didn't have much to say. I had a lot to say, but the problem was I was working so much. I threw myself into work for the past couple of years and to try to just make things go away, and thought maybe if I have money, and I never even saved up because I was thrift spending on trying to, not think about my situation and not be too depressed. Because in the beginning of my transition, I wasn't really happy. I wasn't happy for a long time. Like, it sucks. And that's what I'm trying to make this for everyone that is thinking about transitioning. First of all, if you're thinking about it, like, I don't mean to say if you're thinking about it, do it. But like, in your heart, if you really know, like for me, I remember when I started realizing it, I was like, I think I was like, when I started knowing it was possible to live as a girl and didn't have because I had a girl alter ego sort of thing, like when people weren't around, I would be her. And so and then I kind of knew that it would be possible when Caitlyn Jenner came out. And at that time, it was so, like, I remember being like, shit, what is everyone gonna say? Because it wasn't like they were just talking shit about like something stupid like this. They were talking shit about like basically what I was gonna go through, and I was so scared. And I was like, oh, they're like, what are my parents gonna say? Like, I kind of like gauged the reaction of my friends and family to that, and saw how, like, if they were, nobody was nasty really that I knew, people on Facebook, but not like friends of mine, which was really important because hello, like, You need friends that support you. And so it was just people, my parents, they didn't really talk about it, like in my family, like the Caitlyn Jenner thing, because I think it was like awkward and they just didn't know, like they didn't, well, my mom tells me she always knew that I was supposed to be a girl, but like they probably thought that I went through a phase when I was little where I liked to dress up or whatever, and they didn't think that it was going to become like a reality. So I just thought somebody was walking in here. Because I have to like wash this lab and make sure like everything gets back and put back where it is. So, okay, so next discussion. I just think that my anxiety has gotten better and my depression has gotten better, and also my focus in school. I was always very, I actually think that I have ADHD and I'm going to get tested for it. I got tested for it a couple times as a kid, but the school systems that I went to, they didn't really have a way of, like they had a way of testing, but it wasn't like official. So like they were always like, oh no, you don't have ADHD, like you're fine. You just need to, they actually told me that I needed to apply myself. And I was like 10 or 11. And my mom was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it was awful. But, so where I'm trying to go with this is basically, I really think that the first thing you gotta do is love yourself. And then what I noticed was once I started, like I took a step that was scary, transitioning. For me, in the moment, I was terrified. I didn't know what to do, you know? Even months after, I was still a little, still upset. It happens. We're all human. Like we're all gonna be upset at some point. Like it's gonna happen. But I just think it was a good choice for me, and everything has so far been really great. And anyone out there, because I was at like a low to the point where, I mean, I was never suicidal, but there was like times where I would kind of just say like, if I were to not wake up, like just like stuff like I would never like act on the actions, but like stuff like that. So if I can help somebody else not feel like, this lighting is awful. You can see the difference between, sorry, my natural hair and then the extensions. And I said I have ADHD, so that's why I'm like, can't sit still. Ooh. Can't sit still. But yeah, so it's been a really good journey. It's been a really, really good journey. It was rough in the beginning, and I've learned so much about my relationship with men, because if you watch some of my older videos, I talked a lot about guys and dating and this and that, and I'm glad that I can reflect on that and be like, no, that's not all that matters. Like, that's not what matters at all. And it's just nice to be able to do that. I'm sorry, I just don't think this angle is the best. Maybe I think you fix my hair. Fuck the hair. I noticed because I haven't washed out my the yellow in my hair from the silver shampoo. But at any rate, sorry, that was a little bit of distraction. I'm really happy with the way everything turned out, and I'm really happy with, right now, my situation. Besides school stresses me out. School stresses everyone out, though. But trans-wise, like trans-related, it's gotten better. Like, I'm living at school now, and that's not a choice for everyone. I'm not saying, like, if you're a trans person, go live at school. Like, it's not for everyone, and I didn't think it was for me for years. But then I became comfortable with my body, and once I became comfortable with myself and my body and let things fall into place, I'm like hearing things. Everything else just took charge, and I did better in school. I understood, I'm studying music, so I understood so much more about like music. Like, I'm not doing great on the tests, but the standardized testing to me is really dumb. I struggled with it in middle school with learning disabilities, and then I would go to somebody and they would tell me that I had a brain of like an almost genius with calculating things, and so it's like, what? Like, how is that? How are you gonna say that? And then I fail a test and you call me stupid and you call me this and that, and it's like, what? Annoying. But I understand the whole like music theory thing and the scales now, and I never got any of that shit before, and there's room in my brain now to like absorb new information. Like, I started writing more. Like, I started making lists. I was never organized, ever. Like, literally train wreck. Lists, I've cleaned more, and I'm a clean person, but like my room, I'm kind of messy, like clothes wise, like not like food, like I don't leave food out and stuff, but like, yeah, like clothes all over the friggin' floor, like shit like that. But yeah, so it has been an emotional ride. But I'm an emotional person. I'm a Cancer, so I'm very emotional, and I'm very like raw and sort of just like, here's my emotions. But yeah, I mean, things have been going really great, and I'm happy for that. And I'm happy that I have a supportive family. That's important too. And anyone out there that doesn't have a supportive family, you can get through it. It's a matter of you needing all that support and strength for yourself. So you need to take care of yourself so much. Like, just like, I wish that I took care of myself more than I, like, just more before, when I first started transitioning, instead of going out and drinking and doing this and that. Like, run a bath, like read a book, like listen to music, pour yourself one glass of wine and then have tea. Don't have like a whole bottle of wine like I used to, because that's not good for you. Just really like focus on what you love. Like, what do you love? Like, for me, it was music, love. Like, I've always had a relationship with music since I was little. My mom noticed that, and that's why she got me into piano and stuff like that. I love my family so much, my friends. Like, I love being with people that are positive, good, fun, funny. And I do like going out. That's one thing that, like, I'm kind of a party animal. I mean, not like a party animal, like having parties, but I'm always looking to, like, go out. Ooh, who's going out? What are we doing? And that's why I'm poor. Don't do that as much. Like, nowadays that I'm more comfortable, it just took me longer. It takes everyone a certain amount of time. Now that it took me longer to, like, come into myself, I'm not going out as much as of very recently. I do go out, but I, like, go out with, like my close friends, like people that before I would literally go out with anyone. Like, I would text 800 million people a night and be like, let's go out, because I was trying to distract myself from reality and what I was going through. And so I would be like, if I go out and I get hammered, hey, at least it's 6 more hours that I don't have to think about what's going on in my head. And that's how bad it was. And so it's good that, you know, I didn't have to use those bad habits for so long, and it's really hard to break a bad habit like drinking excessively or coping with a drug. It's easy to do that. It's very easy to fall into that. And so I looked at the big picture sort of, and I said, you know, I don't want to have this big triumphant moment of transitioning and you know, defeating my demons, and then just to go to another demon and become like an alcoholic because I, you know, wanted a coping mechanism. And so it's just that it's not healthy for you to do. I'm not bashing any alcoholics. I'm pretty much, you know, picketing for them, saying it's an addiction and it's easy to fall into. It's very easy to fall into. But it's just, I don't know, it's almost, I used to read articles and stuff of people that transitioned and they were happy, and I was like, it's never gonna happen for me. I just feel like this is always gonna be. And I know, like, for people that are watching this now that are just starting to transition, or they're in the beginning of their transition, like, I understand it feels like that. Like, I'm not putting a damper on that. Like, you can feel like that, because I felt like that. But sometimes you need to get there in order to get to, like, a better place. Because I was like, at one point I was like, there's no point. Like, what? Like, I'm always gonna just be miserable and feel miserable. And even, it doesn't even matter, like okay, yes, passing, it helps, obviously, your brain, but over time, even if you're not passing, like, just the feeling of, like, just the feeling of being, like, comfortable and, like, sitting and not squeaming and being able to touch my body and really, like, feel like myself. And I feel so much more, like, in key with my body, my mind, like, my mind, my body, my soul, everything is, like, together. Where before it was like my mind my soul. So like female, mind and soul female, and then body was male. So these two were always together, and they were ripping away from the male part, you know, by one every so couple months, further and further, until the point where it's like either we're leaving and we're becoming women, or we're all done. And I mean, I'm not saying that like as I was, like I said, I was as I would like I wouldn't commit suicide, obviously for myself anyway. And again, like suicide's a horrible thing, so I'm not trying to say like, oh, I wouldn't do that because, I mean, I just wouldn't do that because I'm not at that point. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're at that point, you're at that point. And I hope nobody on this, watching this, ever gets to that point, because there's so many more options, and there's so much love you can experience, you know? Like, there's so much to experience. Like, I've experienced more in the past, like, year than, like, and I keep saying this, my whole life. It was like my whole life was this black and white, like, not whole life, I shouldn't say that, because I had a very happy upbringing in childhood. I loved my family. Like, they were amazing to me. It was nothing to do with family. It was nothing to do with money. It was nothing to do with like anything else that people go through that would cause trauma as a child. You know, there was no abuse, nothing like that. But once I got smart enough to realize who I was, like as a teenager, was when it really got bad. Because everyone's coming into their own as a teenager. You're a girl, you're 6th grade, oh, you're going to the dance. If you wear dresses, then you wear a dress, whatever. But like, and it's funny, I was talking to my therapist today, and we were talking about that, and she was saying like, you kind of had to deal with like real, like there were girls probably in your grade that were wearing, you know, like, what do I wear to prom? Like, what do I do? Like, that was their biggest worry. Like, this guy won't text me back. And for me, it was like, I'm standing in a tuxedo right now, and all I want to do is literally burn myself to the ground. Like, I was so like, ugh. It just felt like I was in this like tiny closet, and it was like, you can't get out no matter what. And it would just feel so like, I wanted to crawl out of my skin. That's all I'm gonna say. I wanted to literally like rip my body open and like crawl out. I'm not making light of the situation. I just think sometimes my like, what's the word? Metaphors are kind of funny. But yeah, so I could ramble on for hours, but I'm gonna make another video, I think, like in a couple days. But I'm gonna actually make it this time, because you guys know how I say like, oh, I'm gonna make a video, and I don't. But I really will, I promise. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys had a snack or something to like entertain you. I will make another video, request one, or subscribe. Actually, do both. Subscribe and request a video, and I'll do it. Okay. Bye. Thank you.